You're good to go.
All right. Give me 1 second here.
Good old
All
fashioned
right.
college basketball, man.
What's up, boys? We are back with another banger. We are back with our week 17 bracketology here. This is like our fourth time doing it. I hope you boys are having a great day because I'm having a great day. Kyle Pitts is a Falcon in 2026, so I'm absolutely thrilled for that.
Oh
But
man.
best thing the Falcons did this so far in the offseason, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But we're not here to discuss football. We'll maybe discuss it, I don't know, soon for the draft. But today we are here with our bracketology video. Like I said, this is the fourth time we're doing it, and this
Yeah.
is the most has changed, and I expect it to keep on changing every single week and up until March Madness. So it just keeps on getting more chaotic. So let's start into it. You want to start with the one seeds here?
Oh yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Okay. So obviously this is a really crazy freaking thing that's been going on in college basketball. But we had a really amazing game on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Um, between Michigan and Duke. And I knew before the game, I told myself whoever wins this game, I'm going to put as my number one overall seed for this week because it's two top three teams going at it at a neutral site. So you would see some really good basketball. And I have Duke because Duke beat Michigan. Duke did a really good job in that game. I didn't really watch the game. I watched the last 5 minutes of the game. I was at the Suns game on Saturday, but um, from what it looks like to me, Duke played fantastic. Boozer had a great game. John Shire, or whatever, had a really good coaching game as well.
Yeah.
And Duke continues to impress me. I mean, that loss to North Carolina, like Jonas said last time, it's a rivalry game. It's that it still raised some questions to me. They blew that lead, but you see North Carolina, who's barely beating this not very good Louisville team right now, uh, up by 5 with 9 seconds. But Duke continues to impress me. So I think they're my number one seed as of now. And I still think they're my top choice to win the ACC for sure. So my next number one seed is going to go to the Michigan Wolverines. They played a really good game against Duke. Obviously, they couldn't get it done, but it was a close game. And if you're playing a close game against the number three team in the country, uh, that's really good. I think Michigan, they got the one seed. They got ranked number one the week before, or the week of playing the number three team. So that could have gone either way for them. I don't know, where did Michigan actually end up on the rankings
They are
today?
three. They're
They
three
dropped two spots.
behind
Okay.
behind Arizona.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm perfectly fine with them flipping. But they played a really good game. And I have them as my number two overall seed for ones. My next is going to go to Houston. I know Houston has lost two
Really?
games in a row.
That's interesting.
I know, but they've obviously no loss. You know you don't want to lose, but Houston's had some really good losses as of lately, and they're just going through the gauntlet right now. Um, they lost to Iowa State on the road on a buzzer beater, and I think Iowa State's a really good team. Um, they lost Arizona at home, which is not ideal, but I still think they're a really good team. I think yeah, they're ranked 5 now, but I still think they're a really good team, which brings me to my fourth one seed, which is Arizona. They're continuing to play really well. Let me see where they're at here.
Arizona is three or is two.
Yeah, they're 2. Um, they they have Kansas on Saturday. Um, And then they, hold on, my schedule's tweaking out. But yeah, so they got Kansas this Saturday, and then a week from today, they have Iowa State. So those are going to be some really important games for Arizona if they want to keep going here. But I think for sure, I think this should be a lock that the Big 12 will have two 1 seeds. I just think
Yeah,
that's what should happen. That needs to happen. I think that's all but a lock.
yeah. All right, so we're starting off different already. Obviously, we're not gonna disagree on the top overall team. It's the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah,
Beat Michigan fair and square. Really good execution. Not much else needs to be said. It was basically 1 versus 2 in my opinion, and they won that battle, so they are the best team for now. Now, I don't know if they will continue on that path, considering they still have to play UNC, and they struggle mightily against UNC whenever they play them. But we'll see. They're the top overall 1 seed for now, and so that leaves me to my second 1 seed, and I'm gonna actually say it's Arizona, man. I really like what they did against Houston without Koa Pete and their best player, and they gave Houston the works basically. And they also beat BYU. BYU, in my opinion, is a very respectable team. We're going to talk about that win against Iowa State, but I just think Arizona is back in business, man. They had a loss to Kansas, which I mean it's Kansas, bro. But other than that, they've been really good this year. And so my third 1 seed is Michigan. Michigan is has been really good all season long. They just lost to a one or a team that was ranked 3, and they were 1. So I think it's fair to flip them, and you can't really argue that for now. But I think they're just fine where they're at, and so that brings me to my last 1 seed. This is where it gets interesting because there's like 3 teams. You could say Iowa State, you could say Houston, you could say UConn, but I'm gonna
yeah.
say that Iowa State
Okay, okay.
is your last 1 seed. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching the BYU game because it was like at like 11 at night. I had nothing else to do, and I was actually chirping one of my buddies who was an Iowa State fan because that was kind of embarrassing watching AJ DeBonza fry their team, but they're still really good. And like I said earlier, BYU is a very good team. Houston is Houston. Houston is a very good team, and they beat Houston on the road, I think, or was it at home? I think it was at
I
home.
It was at home. Yeah, it was at home.
Anyways, beating Houston in itself is a big accomplishment. I don't care if it's on the road or if it's at home. And BYU, they were in the game for most of the game for BYU, so I'm not going to dock them too much. So Iowa State, still a great team. I'm concerned that they might blow it during March Madness because they've been a little bit inconsistent as of lately,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we'll see on that.
Okay. That brings me to my top overall 2 seed is going to go to Iowa State. Obviously, they're playing really good right now. And I think they're up for it's really just between the top 3 Big 12 teams for who's just gonna unfortunately get a 2 seed. But yeah, Iowa State, really good team. Uh, Here, let me look at their schedule because I know they kind of have okay. So they play Texas Tech on Saturday, and then they play Arizona State on Monday or Arizona on Monday. So 2 ranked games in the next week. Um, so obviously you got to win those games. But I expect them to do very well. Um, but again, they do have that weird little knack for not doing very well come March. So we'll see how they do on that. So that brings me to my next 2 seed, which is going to go to UConn. I was really high on UConn. They're still 25-3. But their losses have really just not been good. They lost to Creighton a week ago. They lost to St. John's about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Um, so not really impressed with them at all. They play St. John's again on Wednesday. So I think that's going to be a really interesting game. Uh, that'll really tell us a lot because they'll be playing at home for that one. So I'm interested to see how they respond to St. John's on that one. That brings me to my next 2 seed, and that's going to go to Purdue. Purdue is just kind of under the radar right now. I mean, they're winning games, they're taking care of business. They lost to Michigan, but it was only by 11. And Michigan has a knack for killing teams, so they were down quite a bit in that first half. Um, but they came back and they only lost by 11. But I still think Purdue's a really good team. Their defense is not good, but their offense is pretty fantastic. So uh, I'm interested to see how they bounce back. Obviously, they just killed Indiana on Friday, but they have a big game on Thursday against Michigan State at home. And then every game from then on should be easy work, but they do have Wisconsin in the last game of the regular season. So that will also be a very telling game um, as well. Now, you might think this one's interesting here. My last two seed is going to go to Florida.
Mm,
Florida, where are they? They're right here. 21-6. The record is buffoonery. They're taking care of the SEC right now. I mean, is anyone even close? I mean, anyone behind them is 2 games back, but they're taking care of the games that they need to. And I'm really liking what they're doing right now. They killed Ole Miss on Saturday. They have a very. This might be a game to watch because this might be in our video tomorrow for sleeper teams to look out for. They play at Texas on Wednesday. That's an interesting one to look at. Saturday they play Arkansas, and then they play Kentucky to end out the season in a couple of weeks. So I'm liking Florida. I think I like their chances in the SEC, and I think they all get a pretty high seed come NCAA tournament.
all right. So obviously, for to start off the 2 seeds, I'm gonna go with Houston. You could arguably put them at 1, but I just think you got to dock them because I think they lost back to. Yeah, they did lose 2
They've
games
lost
this
back
week.
to back, correct?
They were 0-2 this week. They didn't look great. They didn't look bad, but losing two games in a row, you deserve the bump down. I'm sorry, I don't really have much to elaborate on that. And so for my second 2 seed, this is where it gets really weird, but I'm going to say Purdue. Purdue, like you said, lost to Michigan. They split though. Who do they beat? They beat Indiana. They absolutely kicked the crap out of Indiana, who's a tournament team. Indiana, I think, is going to be like a 9 seed in my opinion. So they bounced back, that's for sure. And it wasn't a terrible loss to Michigan. Wasn't a good one, but Purdue is, like you said, under the radar. They got their defense cleaned up at least a little bit, so that's that for you. And so for my third 2 seed, I'm gonna go ahead and say Florida. I think Florida, like you said, is the hottest team in college basketball right now. It's not even close. They're dominating the SEC. Granted, they played scrubs the last couple of weeks. They haven't played anybody good, but Florida is amazing. I love Florida. I think they have a chance of winning it back to back this year. I really do. Their guard play too has been better. Their guard play with Xavier Lee and Boogie Fland has been meeting expectations and not under exceeding. So they beat Alabama, they beat Kentucky, both ranked teams within the last month. So Florida continues to roll, and if they get a 1 seed, I would not really be shocked because they can't seem to lose at this point. So that brings me to my last 2 seed, and I hate saying this, but I have to pick UConn, man. I don't think UConn deserves it, but I mean, yet again, they're 6 on the AP poll. I get they lost to Creighton. That was an embarrassing game,
Yeah,
and they've been barely getting by the Big East. I said all along that UConn is a very overrated team, and if we ever make an overrated team video, they will definitely be included on there, which
yeah,
probably will. But obviously, they bounced back and beat Villanova. Villanova's probably like a 7 or an 8 seed at the moment, and Villanova is pretty good in my opinion. They're just outside of the AP poll, so I got to give them a little bit of credit, but I can't give them too much for the Creighton loss because that was pathetic. So that's that.
yep. Moving on to my 3 seeds. My top overall 3 seed is going to go to Illinois, and I really don't like putting them there because I hate Illinois. But they're a weird team. They lost on a buzzer beater to UCLA on Saturday, which is hilarious. Um, they absolutely gave some belt to USC last week, which USC is not very good. But they're a really weird team because one day they'll kick the crap out of a random team like they beat Indiana by 20, but then they'll lose to Wisconsin in overtime at home. So in Illinois is a really interesting team to look at for me. Obviously, they have a big game on Friday. They're hosting Michigan, um, which that's their only big game left this season. But they're what 10? Yeah, they're ranked 10 right now. So they didn't move after they lost to UCLA, which UCLA is a really interesting team. They're not bad at all. But I really don't know what to expect from Illinois. Um, Maybe they can do something in the Big Ten tournament to get a higher seed. I don't know, but I think a 3 or 4 range for this Illinois team is probably where they're going to end up. Moving to my next 3 seed is going to go to Gonzaga. I also don't like putting them there. I think Gonzaga is they're 27-2, but they're in really not a good conference at all. Um, they're just winning all their games because their opponents kind of trash. So good advertisement there.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. But again, this month they lost to Portland, which is just inexcusable. No diss to Portland or anything like that. I'm sure you guys are great people, but they're 11-14, which is just embarrassing. So I'm a little worried about Gonzaga, but I have to put them here just because of their record wise and because they're ranked what number 9. Yeah, they're ranked 9 right now. Moving to my next one, I'm gonna put Kansas. Kansas, I understand, is sliding quite a bit. They got shellacked by Cincinnati. um, they're currently down by 8 to Houston. uh, and they lost to Iowa State, but they still have that really good win against Arizona, and against a really good Texas Tech team when everyone was healthy this month. So it's kind of been a whirlwind of a month for Kansas, but I still think that they're a pretty decent team. They have to do some good stuff here in the Big 12 tournament to earn more of my respect. But as of right now, I really don't know what to expect from them. So this is the great stuff about college basketball this season. A lot of these teams, I really don't know what to expect from them. So uh, there's that. Now my next 3 seed, I don't know if you're gonna like this one or not, but I still have Nebraska as a 3 seed. They lost to Iowa the other day, and then they beat Penn State by like 30. So obviously, it wasn't a great week for Nebraska as a Nebraska fan. You never like losing to Iowa, uh, but I think Nebraska has a really favorable schedule. These the next couple of weeks here. They have Maryland on Wednesday, USC on Saturday, and then UCLA, who's a pretty decent team, and then Iowa to end off the season. So those 2 games there in March are going to be must-win games, I think, uh, to keep a high seed. But these next 2 games, I'm not terribly worried about, but always need to lock in for games like these. So I still have Nebraska as a 3 seed just because of how good their defense has been. I am extremely worried about the offense, though.
Yeah. All right. So for my 3 seeds, I'm starting off with a hot take here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna
Okay.
start off completely different from you. For my first 3 seed, I'm picking the Virginia Cavaliers. Now,
Okay.
Virginia,
Wow.
Virginia. I know I've been taking a dump on the
Good.
ACC except for Duke. I've been hating every single team outside of Duke and Miami, but Virginia, they beat Ohio State, which, as we know, Ohio State seems to be a good team. I get they're 0-9 in quad one, but Ohio State's no joke. They're pretty good. And they also beat Miami, which, as you guys know,
Jonah's a
as
D1 Glazer of Miami.
exactly. And so they're 18th at Ken Palm. They're 27-17. Good stats all around the board. Virginia is by far the second best team in the ACC. If you want to argue NC State, you can argue NC State, but Virginia is a pretty good team, and I don't know if they're gonna do anything come tournament time. But this is not we're not making a tournament video, so we're just going off
Yeah,
of
this is in tournament. Yeah.
bracketology. Now, if we were to say Virginia and tournament in the same sense in March Madness, I would have them as a first round exit probably or second round. But we're not here for that. We'll talk about them, who they play in the first round as time comes. So for my second 3 seed though, I'm gonna have to pick the Illinois Fighting Illini. They're pretty good. That loss to UCLA though, it's kind of weird. It's pretty
They were up by
inexcusable.
23 in the first half, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty inexcusable though. I mean, to have a guy running down full court with 4 seconds left, but I saw the basket that almost was a game winner. That was a really bad box out by UCLA. Nobody was boxing them out, so they kind of got a lucky bucket. They kind of got an unfortunate break at the end. So I don't know what to think of them. Obviously, they beat USC, who's a bubble team, but USC is probably the worst bubble team in my opinion. They shouldn't. The bubble is just so weak this year that USC is just getting praised for no reason. They stink. But I don't know where or Illinois is at, man. They're hot and they're cold. They obviously have Keaton Wagler, who is spectacular, but I mean, their offense is number one in Ken Palm right now, so their offense is the best in the country statistically. But I don't know. I don't know where my head's at for Illinois. Only
Yeah.
time will tell. I do think they're probably the second best team in the Big Ten. You can argue between them and Purdue, but I have Purdue ahead of them right now. But I think they'll probably finish ahead of Purdue, but we'll see on that. And so my third 2 seed or my third seed is probably. I hate to say this one too. Same with you, but I'm gonna have to go Gonzaga. I hate putting Gonzaga here. You hate putting Gonzaga high too, but Gonzaga is ninth in the AP poll. They're ninth at Ken Palm. They're 22 on offense, 11 on defense. Gonzaga is Gonzaga, man. I don't have much else to say. That game against Santa Clara was scarily close.
Yeah.
Santa Clara is probably like an 11 seed. They're kind of the last 4 team in, and I think that's who they're probably going to match up similar in tournament time. I expect them to be like a 5 seed come tournament time. So I don't know. They're playing way too close games in whatever conference they're in. I don't even know the WW or
The
WCC.
West Coast Conference. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, they play Portland. They play Portland. I think is
Oh,
is it today? Is no? They
is
play them
it
on Wednesday. They play them on Wednesday. They play Portland on
Wednesday?
Wednesday. So
Revenge.
that's gonna be a great game.
And it's prime time on ESPN Plus,
Yep.
everyone's
And
favorite channel.
yeah, and if you think about too, Portland and Gonzaga could play 3 times this year. They have a chance of playing each
Yeah,
other in the
they
tournament
are
because
projected.
Portland's
Yeah,
a 14 seed and Gonzaga at the moment's a 3 seed. But I don't think Gonzaga is going to stay a 3 seed. So they play Portland, they play St. Mary's. So they play a couple of important games, and if they lose either one of those, I'm going to have to drop them down a lot because those 2 teams are not that good, and that's your biggest competition in the WCC. So that's that. All right, moving on to let's see here. Moving on to my fourth 3 seed. This is where it gets. This is where I'm getting really hot here.
yeah,
I'm saying Texas Tech. Now, Texas Tech. I can't lie. That loss to Arizona State was really bad, but that was their first game without JT Toppin. As we know, losing the best player in college basketball is going to affect how you game plan. And they come back and they beat Kansas State by like 30 points. So Texas Tech is still a very good team in my opinion. They're they're really slept on. Like everybody's counting them out now that they lost JT Toppin, but Christian Anderson is the name to look out for in the tournament. I've said his name like 4 times already. Christian Anderson is very good. So they play Cincinnati tomorrow. So
yeah. And Cincinnati's
that's
coming
gonna
off a
be
big game.
that's gonna be probably the best game for Tuesday, I would imagine. So
Probably.
Texas Tech and Cincinnati, we will see a bubble team versus a team who is basically fighting to stay alive as a top 4 seed and get their choice in
Yeah,
the region here. So we'll see what
and
happens, but
and
I still
Tech's
love
playing
Texas
Iowa
Tech.
State. Tech's playing Iowa State on Saturday.
That's true. That's
So,
true. All
all
right,
right, are we
that's
good
all I
on
got.
those?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna start off here. This one's kind of tricky. I'm gonna go. I'll go Virginia. Virginia is my top overall 4 seed? Yeah, 4 seed. For everything you said, I'm interested. They play Duke on Saturday, correct? Do they play them this week?
Do they?
I
I
know
don't
they have a
know.
big game. I know they're playing somebody good.
Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, they
They
have
do
Duke
play
on
them
Saturday at
11
11 a.m.
a.m. Yeah.
So that'll be a really interesting game. I'm excited to see that one. Um, but yeah, I think I completely agree. They're the second best team in the ACC. It'll probably be them and Duke for the title game, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, Virginia top overall 4 seed. My next 4 seed is going to go to Alabama. They had a really really good win against Arkansas, who I really like Arkansas as well. But I mean, freaking guy, they how many points did they score in that double overtime?
117.
117. Absolutely great game. I was watching that during dinner in Arizona, so that was really fun to watch. Really good game. And this Alabama team, there's my only thing with Alabama is they're in a lot about this freaking Chris Bediako guy from the G League. G League dropout is causing a lot of drama around Alabama. And I really don't like that at all for a college basketball team. That's just really not good. So hopefully that does not impact them at all. My next 4 seed is going to go to Arkansas, who just lost to Alabama. But then again, I said this earlier, no loss is good, but that was a good loss. It was a good SEC game, double overtime. Darius Acuff dropped, what, 48, 49?
Yeah, 49.
Freaking stud. And they came out and they beat Missouri on Saturday. Now, Missouri is kind of an under the radar team. They're 18-9, middle of the pack. They're in the
Yeah.
SEC, maybe can make some noise.
Only team to
But
beat Florida besides Auburn.
yeah,
Missouri is.
yeah. So, and then they have a big game on Saturday night at Florida. That'll be a really big game, a big test for both those teams to see how legit they are. And so my last 4 seed is going to go to St. John's. I'm really loving St. John's right now. St. John's is playing great basketball. They're 22-5, haven't lost this month. Um, 2 big games coming up though. I mean, they're playing UConn Wednesday, and then they got Nova on Saturday. And I really like Villanova. I think they're a team to look out for. But yeah, I'm loving everything that St. John's is doing right now. And I can easily see them moving up as well. It's interesting. Yeah.
As of lately, they
Yeah.
bounced. Great at Penn State, sucks at basketball, but
Price Sanford dropped like 31 though. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Nebraska, I don't like them. Their offense is just really stale. It's just not good.
it's really not good.
But at the same time, they've been playing comp, and I would say I was a great team, but they're a decent team. So they're a quad one team. So I don't know. We'll see about Nebraska, but for my second 4 seed, since I have Nebraska, I got to include Michigan State. Michigan State is back to back with Nebraska on the poll. They're 13, Nebraska is 12, and Michigan State, they were 2-0, which is a lot of. We can't really say that about a lot of teams here. A lot of teams at the top had a lot of losses, but Michigan State took care of business. Granted, UCLA is not very good. I know you like UCLA, but I don't think they're that good. They're like 1-9 in quad
I think
one.
they're a sneaky team. I don't like UCLA, but they're 18-9. They're
Ugh.
they're they're kind of like that next tier down after the best teams in the Big
I don't
Ten.
know. I'm just not a fan of UCLA. They kicked the crap out of them though, so it doesn't matter. And they beat Ohio State, which we're gonna discuss Ohio State tomorrow.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
that's a guaranteed. But Ohio State seems to be the weirdest team in college basketball. They don't have a quad one win, but they still only have like 8 losses. I don't know. So moving on to my fourth third seed. This brings me to this is this bring I'm gonna go ahead and say Tennessee. Hot take. But I got
Okay.
Tennessee as my fourth third seed. Tennessee is 12th in Ken Palm right now. They're like way higher than their seed is in Ken Palm. They're doing amazing in Ken Palm. And they come out and they beat Oklahoma. Granted, Oklahoma sucks at basketball. They're also a team that should probably just stick to football. And they play Vanderbilt and they beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, I might have to mention them pretty quickly here because Vanderbilt is really high in Ken Palm too. I value stats, and Vanderbilt and Tennessee are back to back in Ken Palm. So Tennessee has been really inconsistent this year. I don't know where my head's at with Tennessee, but for now, they're the biggest risers in today's video, and I'm just gonna ride the wave for now because Tennessee is playing some great basketball.
I don't
They
know if
play
chat likes that one that much. They're
that
saying
is 8 losses
they
too
say
much.
Tennessee's get too many losses.
I
Yeah,
mean,
they're 20-7, so they're not terrible, but
but let's just list off the resume though. They beat Alabama.
yeah, beat Vandy.
Alabama's They beat Vanderbilt. They beat Houston, which Houston is a 1 seed, might be a 1 seed. They beat Louisville. So like
And
this
they
team,
only lost to Kansas by 5.
yeah, this team's good. I feel like they may have 8 losses. They may be like 6-8 in quad one, but they're really hot right now. So
Yeah, they're
I
4th in
will
the SEC, so
I will say they play Missouri tomorrow, which is going to be a great game. Missouri, it's going to be 2 hot teams going at it. I don't know who's
yeah.
going to win that one, but and they play Alabama on Saturday, which is my game that I'm going to be watching. Bama versus Tennessee, 2 of the hottest teams in college basketball. So hot take, like I said, but I stand by it. So that brings me to my fourth seed, and I said I was going to include Vanderbilt, but I can't include Vanderbilt after almost nearly falling out of the poll and losing 2 in a row. I can't include Vanderbilt, so I'm going to include them probably next in the 5 seeds. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and say Arkansas. Now this is another really hot take, but I get they lost to Bama. I have them ahead of Bama though because it was 2 points. 2 points isn't really that bad of a loss, and it was on Alabama's home floor. So if it was in a neutral site, Arkansas would have won. Guarantee it. If it was in Arkansas, they would have probably won by 10 or 15. And I mean, Alabama, I mean, they took them to double overtime. So I still think Arkansas is the better team in the SEC, and they just have Darius Cuff, and Alabama does not. So Darius Cuff's a top 5 draft pick.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of that's basic ball knowledge, but like I'll just say it, man. I'm giving out hot takes right now, and I stand by it. So that's that.
Okay. 5 seeds, we moving on to those now?
Yeah, 5
Got
seeds.
my top seeded 5 seed is gonna go to Texas Tech. Obviously, I was really high on Texas Tech. Then the injury happens, and they lose to Arizona State,
Yeah,
but
that's
they did have that good
embarrassing.
win. Um, I was really hoping Texas Tech would do something magical this year, man. I still think that they can get a win or two in the tournament, but to me, they can't win a national championship without JT Toppin. I'm sorry, that might be a
Yeah,
hot take. I don't know, but I don't think it's possible. Um, yeah, Texas Tech drops a couple spots. I think I had them. I had a three. I had them at a 3 seed last time, but they're dropping 2 spots for me. My next 5 seed is going to go to Michigan State. I don't like Michigan State right now. I understand they've won 2 in a row, but they beat UCLA by 13, and that's when UCLA's coach was crashing out. And then they beat Ohio State by 6 at home yesterday. Ohio State is right; they're always right there. But let us not forget the terrible month that Michigan State has had. They lost to Minnesota, and they lost to
Yikes.
Wisconsin. So two really bad losses there. Now credit Wisconsin; it's kind of a weird team, but uh, I'm not high on Michigan State at all right now. So I had them. I think I had them. I had them at a 4 last time, so I just haven't have them dropping a spot. But I'm not a fan of them. My next 5 seed is going to go to where is it? Vanderbilt. I had Vandy as a 4 last time, have them dropping a spot after losing to Tennessee. Right? Yes. Where are they? Dude, yeah, they dropped to 25th in the polls. I mean, come on. They lost to Missouri. No disrespect to Missouri, but they had a rough week last week. It's safe to say that. I'm not high on Vandy at all. I've kind of been against Vanderbilt all season long. Um, to me, they just remind me of their football team. Honestly, they'll win a lot of games and then they'll kind of start struggling there a little bit towards the end. So I think it's for Vanderbilt. To me, it's going to come down to how well they play in the SEC tournament, and where they get seated at. But I could definitely see this team shocking the world, go to the Elite Eight, Final Four, something like that. But I can also see this team losing the first round. So again, another team I really don't know what to expect. And then my last 5 seed is going to go to North Carolina. Uh, I mean, UNC, they're weird. They just won against a not very good Louisville team by 3 at home. They lost to NC State about 2 weeks ago. No, that was a week ago, but they got shellacked. I mean, that was really bad. I think I had them, yeah, but they gave some belt to Syracuse. Uh, they have a ranked win again, and then they play a VTech on Saturday, and then Clemson and Duke next week. So to
3 big
conclude the
games.
season, those are 3 very big games for the Tar Heels, and so that'll dictate if they drop a lot or if they go up a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are my 5 seeds.
All right. Obviously, my our seed projections are actually way different, and we're only to a 5 seed, so why not continue it? So
Yep.
I'm gonna start off with the 5 seeds with St. John's. St. John's. I don't know. I'm kind of keeping them where I've always kept them around the 5 because they haven't played anybody really good, and luckily for them, they play UConn and they play Villanova. So 2 games, and we'll see how good St. John's is. So I'm keeping them at a 5 seed for now. They probably have the hardest schedule out of any single team in college basketball this week, in my opinion. So we'll see. We'll learn a lot about St. John's. So my
Yeah.
second 5 seed is gonna be it's gonna be Bama. Now Alabama, they've won like 8 in a row. I don't know if they've lost this month, but Alabama is very, very, very overrated. The resume is not really great, other than beating bad teams. They've lost to Vanderbilt. They've lost to Tennessee. They have a weird out of conference schedule too. They've lost to Gonzaga. They lost to Purdue. But similar, similar to St. John's, they kind of have an important game this week. They play Tennessee on
Yeah.
Saturday, which is 2 teams who are in the upper tier of the SEC, kind of fighting for that first round bye of the SEC, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting. But Amari Allen on Saturday impressed me. Amari Allen played great, very underrated college basketball player. I love the guy. They got they just got a lot of guys. They don't really have that one guy. That's kind of my concern with Alabama is they don't have that one go-to scorer, but they have like 5 guys who average like 10 points plus. So I don't know. We will definitely see with Alabama. Their defense is still really bad, but Nate Oates doesn't really care about that. So I'm not even going to mention that for a while now. So that doesn't even need to be said at this point. So moving on to my third 5 seed, I am gonna go ahead and say Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, like you said, very underrated. Vanderbilt's probably gonna be on tomorrow's video. Spoiler alert, but I really like Vanderbilt a lot. They lost to they lost to Missouri, which Missouri seems to be really hot right now. Missouri seems to be fighting for their lives. They're really good, and they lost to Tennessee, which Tennessee is a very good basketball team. And since I had Tennessee as a 4 seed, I have to have them or Vanderbilt as a 5 seed because they're one spot ahead of them in Ken Palm. So they're 12 in Ken Palm. So I can't really put them much lower than 5. If I'm being honest. I get that they almost dropped out of the AP poll, but they played 2 really good teams. So they play Georgia tomorrow, which I feel like all these games in the SEC are really big and going to be really big in the SEC tournament and are going to have a big impact in seeding. And they
Yeah.
play Kentucky on
Yeah.
Saturday too. So
Mm-hmm.
2 big games. Both Georgia and Kentucky are kind of on the bubble, but not really. So if they can beat those 2 teams, they're gonna be in good shape as they play Tennessee not this week but next week to get their revenge. And so my final 5 seed. I haven't said Kansas yet. I'm gonna save my hottest take for a little bit later, so I'm not including
Ooh.
Kansas. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say BYU. I know you hate BYU,
I
but
hate BYU with a passion.
I really liked what BYU did. They lost to Arizona in a close game. They played their hearts out, and they play Iowa State. They were like number 3 or number 4 at the time in the nation, and they kind of dominated them. AJ DeBonza, I mean, is my number 1 overall pick. I mean,
As he, yeah.
he's playing better than Darren Peterson. I mean, I
Oh,
don't know
well,
why.
he's playing more too.
He's playing more. He's playing better. He's just better. And Robert Wright. I've said his name a million times, but he also played the full game against Iowa State, and he had like 20 some points. So those two are now the big duo of BYU without Richie Saunders, and it's looking really good. So BYU is a very scary team. They're like 19th in Ken Palm, but in my opinion, they are probably a top 5 team in the Big 12. They're arguably better than Kansas, and they're arguably better than Texas Tech. So BYU is going to keep rising, in my opinion. They're gonna get back to their original form, which is championship aspirations, and I think I don't know if they can win one still, but
Yeah.
I mean, if they can beat Iowa State, they can beat anybody. So that's that.
Okay. My number 1 top seeded 6 seed is going to go to Tennessee. They're playing very well right now. I mean, winning games that they're supposed to be winning. They're upsetting people all over the place. They're just doing a really good job right now. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. So yeah, Tennessee top overall 6 seed for me. Where the, let me see. My next one is gonna go to NC State. Um, NC State's playing very good. Um, I mean, they're probably the 3rd best team in the ACC, so they'll probably get another shot at Virginia in conference tournament time. So I'm interested to see how well they can do come that. Um, Now I hate doing this, but I have BYU as a 6 seed. I don't like BYU at all, but they got some good wins, so I got to give them some props here. Um, Even though I don't like them very much. So BYU is the next 6 seed, and my last 6 seed is going to go to Miami of Ohio. Um, Again, they're still undefeated, still balling. So I think I have to put them in a 6 seed until they lose, which at this rate, I don't know if that's possible. They're playing really, really well. And I'm excited to see if they can make some noise come tournament time.
Yeah. All right, for my first 6 seed, we can both agree here. We almost actually had the same exact spot for this
Really?
team. I have NC State. NC State only played one game, but it was against UNC, and they kicked the crap out of them. And they're probably, you could argue, they're the second best team in the ACC. They're 25th in KenPom. Like, they're really good, to say the least. They lost to Miami, Florida by 1 point, which is an all right loss, but other than that, they've been kind of steamrolling through competition. That Louisville loss is the only thing I'm holding against
Yeah.
them, though. That was like a week ago. They lost by like 40 points, which is probably going to be the only reason why I don't pick them come tournament time. But they play Virginia tomorrow, which a lot of big games tomorrow. But I'm going to say that this is my biggest game tomorrow. I'm circling it down. NC State versus Virginia tomorrow at 6 p.m. That's going to be a great game. So if they beat Virginia, they're the second best team in the ACC, hands down. It's not even a debate. And yeah, they play Duke on March 2nd. So they have a busy schedule, to say the least. And we will see what they're made of. And so my second 6 seed is going to Miami, not the Red Hawks. I'm picking the Hurricanes.
Mm.
Shocker.
Yeah.
But Miami, let me pull up their schedule. Let me pull up Miami's schedule here. Oh, frick. Miami, I don't know who they played, but Miami did lose to Virginia. I forgot who they lost to on Tuesday, or they beat. I don't know. Anyways, they lost to Virginia by 4 points on Saturday. That was a really close game. There was moments where they were pulling away against Virginia, and that was
Ayo.
kind of a last second game. So Virginia or Miami, Florida is a really good basketball team. They're
Yeah.
underrated. They're in the same tier as they're in the second tier of ACC teams. They will definitely be included in tomorrow's video. So there's that. And so my third 6 seed, I still have Kansas. I still haven't mentioned North Carolina. I'm picking North Carolina.
Okay.
Since all these ACC teams in this
Can't seem to
mix,
get their act together.
I'm picking North Carolina. It's fitting too. I feel like because they're all in this kind of this cluster mess.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina, as you guys know, they just beat Louisville. They beat them by 3 points, but nevertheless, they beat a ranked team. So first ranked win since Duke, and they beat Syracuse on Saturday. So that's that. I'm not really high in North Carolina. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
As you guys know, I said they're not that good,
Yeah.
and they haven't been playing great. But they beat a ranked team in Louisville, so I got to keep them similar to what I did last time. And last time I had them as a 6 seed, and they're gonna stay a 6 seed. And they play Virginia Tech on the 28th, which is on Saturday, I think. And they play Clemson next week, so 2 really big games. And if they win those 2 games, and if they get Caleb Wilson back, they're going to be a really scary team in the tournament. So they could make a run in the tournament, but without Caleb Wilson, I'm still going to hate on them. So that's that.
Yeah.
And so for my fourth, 6 seed, I haven't mentioned. I'm going to say it's Kansas. Kansas, you had them. What'd you have Kansas as? A 3
I had
seed? A
Kansas
4
at a
seed?
3. I had them, yeah, as a 3.
Kansas, ladies and gentlemen, is not a good basketball team.
No, they're not good.
They've lost to Cincinnati. They've lost to VCU. They've lost to West Virginia. They're not good. They've lost to UConn too, which UConn's a good team. But I will say this with Kansas, they're a better team without Darren Peterson.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Statistically, they actually are.
Statistically,
literally.
they are. And that may be really dumb considering he's the number 1 overall pick. But Darren Peterson, with him, they lost by like 20 to Cincinnati. Without him, they beat Arizona. So if they have Darren Peterson on their team, I see him as a first round exit. Without him though, they just play better continuity together,
Yeah.
and they just play better ball
Yeah, I mean,
without Darren Peterson. And I think they could be a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 team without Darren Peterson. But
yeah.
Darren Peterson's kind of a ball hog, so and he's not a good defender. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching this game right now. Darren Peterson is not on the court, and Kansas has just tied the game up with Houston, and they were just down by a bajillion. So
no, I mean, like I said, Darren Peterson negatively impacts the team, and I don't know why he's the number one overall pick. I couldn't tell you, but he definitely does not help the Kansas Jayhawks out. So that's that. I have Kansas as a 6 seed. They might be a 7 seed next video, depending on if they lose to
good.
Houston tonight. But Kansas
Hmm.
stinks. So
Yeah. Okay, going on to the 7 seeds. My top 7 seed is going to be Louisville, and they will continue to drop. I mean, I had them. Where did I have them? I had them at a 6. They're just going to keep dropping. I mean, they're not a good team, but the record still shows it. So they're still here for now. Uh, so next up is Villanova, one of those teams that I will probably be talking about tomorrow because I really like Villanova. And they're not getting enough. They're not talking. They're not getting talked about enough, which is kind of an
yeah,
issue. But they're kind of that third team there in the Big East. So give me Nova
definitely.
as my second 7 seed. Now I'm going to go a little mid major action here and go with St. Louis. Um, I know they lost pretty bad. It's like Rhode Island or something. Um, but I still think they're a really good team, man. I mean, they're one of those mid majors that can make something happen. Uh, now their lack of size is not good, but I still think that they're a pretty good team overall. Uh, my next 7 seed, this team takes a jump up from last week, from an 8 to a 7. The Miami Hurricanes, Jonah's second favorite team, practically. They're a good team, man. I mean, they hold on, I lost it. Where did it go? Anyway, whatever. They're a good team. I think they can definitely keep moving up.
yeah,
In the NCAA tournament. But I'm really interested to see how they play come ACC tournament because they're a first round exit in the ACC tournament. Who knows what can happen there? So those are my 7 seeds.
yeah. I don't know what it is, but like I just have second favorite teams, and I don't actually have second favorite teams. But with the Texans, as we know, if you guys were watching those
Yeah,
streams, I was glazing the Texans. I don't know. I just like to glaze certain teams for some reason. I don't know. I have a weird obsession with that. But let's move on to 7 seeds. Let's get these over with. My first 7 seed is going to be Missouri. Now, Missouri obviously is a bubble team. They're probably not going to get a 7 seed RRL, but this is in our videos. This is the best 32 teams in college
yeah,
basketball, is what I'd like to call it. So,
that's fair.
Missouri beat Vanderbilt, which I have high respect for Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's a great team. And they competed with Arkansas till the end, which those are the premier teams of the SEC. Those are probably the second and third best team in the SEC. And Missouri has Mark Mitchell, former Duke reject, but Mark Mitchell has been balling lately. So I love Mark Mitchell. Jaden Stone had an off game. Jaden Stone is really good too. And so that brings me to my second 7th seed, and that's the Texas Longhorns. Now, Texas, I'm not even going to underrate them at this point. I'm just going to put them where they deserve to be. I think Texas is a very good team. They're going to be a team that busts people's brackets come March Madness. I am confident that they will win at least 1 or 2 games in March Madness, without a doubt. They beat LSU. They lost to Georgia. Georgia is a weird team. I don't know if they're underrated or not. I don't know, but they've had a really good run. They're at the top of their conference too, and they have like the 8th best offense in the country. And they have Tremont Mark, who is really good, and they have Dylan Swain too, who's also very good. So Texas, I love Texas, so they might be my third
Yeah,
favorite team
they're.
here.
Yeah. Are those your sevens?
Yeah, okay. I got 2 more sevens. I got two more
Okay, okay,
sevens.
okay,
So
okay.
my third 7th seed It's gonna be not A&M. Frick. I'm gonna go ahead and say Louisville. I think, like you said, Louisville sucks, but they're on the poll, so they deserve to be here. They lose every big
Technically,
game they
they
play,
definitely won't be on the poll anymore
but
after the
I'm
loss
just gonna
to
say they're on the poll, or I'm just gonna say they're here because they're on the poll at the moment. So they're gonna drop next week's video. But as we were recording, we didn't know if they're gonna beat UNC or not,
yeah.
so we're just gonna go off of that honestly. So that brings me to my last seventh seed, and it's Wisconsin. Now, is Wisconsin's Wisconsin, man. They can beat Michigan State, they can beat Illinois, but can also lose to Ohio State by like 17 or 18 points. That was really bad. And Wisconsin was one of those teams where I could see them in the Final Four. I could see them as a first round exit, but
Yep.
I'm just going to keep them where they're projected in the actual bracketology as around the 7th seed. And right now, they're just outside the AP poll. And I think with the Louisville loss, they'll get back in it. So, Wisconsin, weird team, but I think they deserve it.
Yeah,
So, that's my
I agree.
sevens.
Okay, moving on to the final four teams for the video for me. The 8 seeds, my top 8 seed is going to go to Wisconsin for all the things Jonah just said. I mean, I have them literally in the same spot that they were last week. They're so weird. And I
Yeah,
think I
totally.
think the 8 seed is probably where they're just going to end up. And they could definitely just upset a 1 seed. Um,
Yeah.
I can easily see that happening. But then again, I could also just see them losing to the most random team ever. So uh, Wisconsin, interesting team. Uh, can make some noise though. I'm definitely going to say that. My next 8 seed is going to go SMU out of the ACC. Not a lot of people are talking about SMU, but they're having a sneaky good season. Let me find them. Uh, 19-8. I mean, they don't like have like signature like
They beat
wins or something.
Louisville. I
Do
mean,
they?
that's a
Did they?
signature.
Okay. Technically,
I
yeah,
can't.
it's signature, but but yeah, their only loss. Oh, I guess they lost to Syracuse this
I
month.
searched
That's not
fitness
good.
and landed on here.
What? Said an is is I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment. Yeah, I work out, bro. But anyway, SMU is gonna be the next. It's gonna be the next 8 seed. My third 8 seed is gonna go St. Mary's just because of the fact that they're always there. So give me
Do you
St.
have a
Mary's
cat
there,
or dog?
dog. Um,
This is college
and
basketball. This isn't
yeah, it's college
animals.
basketball. And then my last 8 seed is going to go to Missouri because I agree with you on that. They're a really
Yeah.
underrated team in the SEC.
All right. 8 seeds. Last 4 teams I mentioned. Like I said, this is our best 32 best teams. This is not necessarily where it's going to shape out in the bracket, but to start it off, we got the SMU Mustangs. It's crazy because I would have thought that it would be reversed with their football basketball, but they're really good in basketball. They're really disappointing in football. Some great ball, man. They're like 30 somethings in Ken Palm, and they're definitely up there with the second tier of teams in the ACC. I love them, man. SMU, it's good. I think they'll bust some people's brackets as well. And so leads me to my second 8 seed, and I got a lot of Big Ten teams to say here, but I don't know if I really want to go that route. Let's see. I am going to go ahead and say Iowa. I don't really like Iowa. They beat Nebraska, but they got the tar kicked out of them by Wisconsin. And Iowa is just it's just in that clump of Big Ten teams who are good but not great. They've just been doing fine all season long. Like, and they get credit because they play in the Big Ten. That's it. So Iowa is okay. Bennett Stirs, obviously,
Hey, he's really good.
everybody glazes him.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. I mean, but that's that's really all I got to say about Iowa. So moving on to my third, 8th seed. This one is a hot take, but I'm gonna say, hold on, let me pull up their schedule here. I'm gonna say UCF Knights. I really like UCF
Okay.
Knights.
Okay.
They've been playing really good as of lately. They beat TCU, which was the battle of the bubble. Um, I don't know what to really say on that. And they beat Utah. Granted, that was a really ugly win, but I'm not gonna hate on a team for winning. You just can't hate on a team for winning. So UCF
Shit
has
going wild right now, bro.
has a decent resume. They beat Texas Tech. They beat Texas Tech. They beat Kansas. So they're a solid team. And that brings me to my last team of also in the Big 12. That gives me Cincinnati. Cincinnati, as we know, just beat Kansas. And I mean, if they just beat Kansas, I got to have them similar to Kansas. I think that's only fair. Cincinnati is another one of those Big 12 teams with TCU and UCF who are kind of on the bubble, but they've been playing really good basketball. They've won their past 4 games in a row, and they play Texas Tech tomorrow night. So we will see who will be victorious tomorrow night between Cincinnati and Texas Tech. But Cincinnati is my last team mentioned in this video. So, you got anything else you want to say?
No, I'm just excited for tomorrow's video, man.
Tomorrow, I'm excited too. Well, that wraps up today's video. I think we got a solid hour.
Yeah, we
20
got a
minutes.
hearty
I don't
hour.
know.
Yep.
We got a good hour in. I just love making these videos. This is probably the most fun I've had for podcasts so far.
Yeah,
So we're
fair.
definitely gonna have to be doing March Madness every single year from now on. So tomorrow we'll have our most underrated teams. If you guys watched today's stream, you probably heard a lot of them, but we're gonna do an in-depth analysis. This guy's a troll, bro. This guy's a troll.
He's got a sub though for that good content.
Anyways, we'll be back at it tomorrow for most underrated teams. I think we got to get a most overrated teams, and
Have to.
I think that'll be later in the week. I don't know about
Definitely.
3 videos in a row, but we'll get it in on like Thursday or Friday. So
Yep.
that's our game plan for tomorrow. But hope you boys have a good rest of your night. Hope you boys watch some college basketball tomorrow because we got a good slate once again.
We got a good
And
game going on right now too. Kansas.
Yeah, we do. And we will see you for our underrated teams tomorrow. Peace out.